A monopoly makes money without even trying. That's the common image, and ASML's latest earnings report is about to shatter it. The real driver behind ASML's better-than-expected results wasn't new machines at all. It was the maintenance and upgrade business that kicks in after the machines are sold. I see this as a sign that AI semiconductor investment has moved past the stage of one-off equipment orders and entered a new phase, building the infrastructure that keeps those machines running.
Hello everyone, I'm Ty, with 31 years in the semiconductor industry. Today we're looking at ASML of the Netherlands, its second quarter 2026 earnings, and its newly raised full-year revenue forecast. By the end of this video, you'll understand the true nature of the service business that powers ASML's strength, why it is anything but an easy monopoly, and how AI investment is reshaping the entire equipment industry. As always, let's start with a familiar analogy. Imagine there is exactly one company in the world that can build a special elevator designed for super tall skyscrapers. Buildings hundreds of meters tall simply cannot exist without this elevator. Developers around the world place their orders with this one company, and even after delivery, inspection and renovation work keeps rolling in for years. It looks like an enviable winner-takes-all business, doesn't it? But once you learn this company's history, the picture changes. This special elevator took more than 20 years to complete. Along the way, people repeatedly doubted whether a working machine could ever be built. Research costs kept ballooning, and if the project failed, all that money would be gone for good. In fact, the building developers who would someday need this elevator ended up sharing the development costs themselves, reasoning, if this never gets finished, we're the ones in trouble. What's more, this company didn't build the elevator alone. The motor at its heart came from a long-established specialist manufacturer. The cables came from another master craftsman firm. The company showed these experts around the world its plans years into the future, even providing investment and equipment support, and got them all working toward the same goal. Its real strength was never about buying up parts. It was the vision to forge scattered masters into a single, unified team. And then comes life after delivery. If the elevator stops, the entire building stops. The only company that can repair this complex machine is the one that holds all the blueprints and all the operating data. The income from inspections and renovations is certainly large, but it is also compensation for shouldering all alone and without pause the responsibility of keeping machines running around the world. That said, this company's throne is not secure forever. Now that the world knows the ultimate elevator actually exists, latecomers will give chase by studying published information and recruiting talent. To remain the champion, the company can never stop developing the next model or supporting its master craftsmen. From here, let's look at how this simplified story is actually playing out on the ground in the real industry. The star of the story is ASML of the Netherlands, the company that exclusively supplies EUV lithography machines, equipment that cutting-edge chip-making simply cannot do without. On July 15, 2026, ASML announced its second quarter results, revenue of 9.326 billion euros and net income of 2.918 billion euros. Both revenue and gross margin came in above the company's own previous guidance, a genuinely strong set of numbers. On top of that, ASML raised its full-year 2026 revenue forecast to a range of 43 to 45 billion euros, with a gross margin of 54 to 56%. Behind this is continued investment in advanced logic and memory chips for AI, with semiconductor makers pulling their capital spending plans forward. What deserves attention is the expansion of supply capacity. ASML plans to increase production capacity for its low-NA EUV machines, about 65 units in 2026, by 30% in 2027. It also plans to boost immersion DUV machines from roughly 130 units in 2026 by 30% in 2027, and to significantly expand its lineup of upgrades for machines already installed in the field. And here is what really caught the eye in this earnings report: a revenue segment called Installed Base Management.
This bundles together equipment maintenance and services with sales of options that boost the performance of existing machines, and it came to 2.762 billion euros, roughly 30% of total revenue. In fact, the main reason revenue and gross margin beat the company's guidance was not new machine sales, but this service business growing well beyond expectations.
Most media coverage will likely frame this as ASML is booming on the back of AI demand. Sell a machine once, and revenue keeps stacking up. Maintenance, parts replacement, software updates, performance upgrades, and customers can't easily hand the servicing of something as complex as EUV over to a third party. On the surface, it's an extremely powerful monopoly business. But I don't see this as a case of making easy money because of a monopoly. First, this monopoly is the result of staggering upfront investment. Inside an EUV machine, tens of thousands of tin droplets per second are fired into a vacuum and struck precisely with a powerful laser to turn them into plasma. The resulting light, with a wavelength of just 13.5 nanometers, is then bounced off special mirrors again and again until it reaches the wafer. Many doubted a practical light source could ever be built, but in 2017, ASML finally reached the 250-watt output said to be necessary for mass production. ASML explains that it poured more than 6 billion euros into EUV research and development alone over 17 years. The overall development took more than 2 decades. Had it failed, that enormous sum might never have been recovered. The burden was too heavy for one company to carry. In 2012, Intel, TSMC, and Samsung committed a combined 1.38 billion euros over 5 years to next-generation lithography R&D. The future customers themselves stepped up to share the development risk. The second essential point is the technology alliance. Roughly 80% of the components in an EUV machine are made by suppliers around the world. The ultra-precision optics come from Zeiss of Germany, the high-power lasers from Trumpf, and Cymer, which held the light source technology, was acquired in 2013. With Zeiss in particular, ASML took a 24.9% stake in its optics division for 1 billion euros, and its support for the next-generation machines has grown to more than 1.3 billion euros. What ASML has secured is not individual components. It is a vast alliance itself, one that keeps the world's finest companies moving toward a single goal. And precisely because the machine was built this way, maintenance also concentrates at ASML. No other company holds everything from the design to the operating data and can take responsibility for the machine as a whole. If a machine stops, the customer's cutting-edge production line stops with it. ASML gets to sell these machines exclusively, but in exchange, it also monopolizes the responsibility of keeping every machine in the world running. In 2025, maintenance and options revenue reached 8.2 billion euros, up 26.2% from the previous year. With this latest upward revision, that responsibility grows even heavier, leaving ASML no choice but to keep investing in machines, parts, people, and service infrastructure. Indeed, its R&D spending in 2025 came to roughly 4.7 billion euros. Still, this position is not guaranteed forever. China may come chasing with a homegrown EUV machine, gathering talent and openly published research. In June 2026, it was reported that the US government was concerned EUV-related technology may have found its way to China. ASML has flatly denied this, and no decisive evidence has been made public. The monopoly makes the investment possible, but it is only because ASML kept up investment on a scale no one else could endure that the monopoly exists at all. That is my read on it. Let's also consider what this means for Japan. If ASML ramps up production of both EUV and immersion DUV machines, demand for the materials and components that support those machines will grow as well. Japan is home to many companies that supply the periphery of lithography equipment, optical components, precision parts, and materials. So I see this wave of capacity expansion as a potential tailwind for them. On the other hand, if the scramble for machines intensifies, the question of how Japan's manufacturing sites secure their own equipment will carry even more weight. Let me pull it all together. The essence of this news is that AI semiconductor investment has moved beyond the stage of temporary one-off orders and progressed into capacity expansion across the entire equipment supply chain. The strength of ASML's service business is the reward for more than 20 years of development risk and for a technology alliance that united master companies around the world. It is anything but an easy monopoly. To sum up, on the back of strong results, ASML raised its full-year 2026 revenue forecast to 43 to 45 billion euros and is moving to expand production of both EUV and immersion DUV machines. The main driver of the upside was the maintenance and upgrade business, which accounts for roughly 30% of total revenue. And to defend its monopoly, the investment can never stop. I hope you'll keep this perspective in mind as you follow ASML from here on. That's all for today. I'll keep bringing you semiconductor news and analysis. So if you found this useful, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. This has been Ty on Semiconductor News Decoded.